I know I'll be okay, 'cause I found my way.
Starting in 2 minutes. Welcome, everybody. All right. So today's topic will lower the song. I was dancing to this last night. I was like, yeah, this is the one. If you are in transition, whether it's in a new home, new city, or a new job, let's see, all of these are true for Jimmy and I. So new city, new town, a lot of new things, and we're in transition. And today's topic is, if you are in transition, wherever that is, how do you keep motivated? And I know because of all this copyright, I wish I would have started this with 525,600 minutes. However, that actually will ban my video. But anyway, so I'm Patty Zeta for those who don't know me. And I really, what I want to share as far as motivation, let's start with the definition. And I'll start with what I don't mean by motivation, because most people think it's like this rah-rah cheerleader. I'm always happy, and that is far from the truth. If you actually listen to the song, you know what it lasted a little longer. You can hear it. I'll look for the artist and I'll put it in the comments. I was in the dark in bad times, and I know I'll be okay. So it's how do we embrace the suck, basically, and how do we keep ourselves motivated? So in the hard times, in the transition, in the challenges, how do you remain motivated? Or how have I been keeping myself motivated? And yes, I am going to talk about, my journal. Really, I keep telling people it's my best friend and my executive assistant. And the reason why I keep motivated comes down to a rock, sand, and water analogy that I want to share. So again, if you're in transition, if you're currently in the middle of a suck or challenges, how do you still keep looking forward to the end of the tunnel? So it's not at all times super happy, but it's how do you choose to look at the positive, remain steadfast and solid as you find your way, right? That's why I chose this song. And I'm going to be playing other songs. I want to come every Friday and I want to highlight artists because music is my life. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and share where I'm getting. So I am going to be talking from my blog, from my website. And Why Superstars is all about how do we lead our lives, right, with what matters the most, to keep that energy, to nurture your spark. What brings you joy? And I just said music is my life, and it's true. Music is my life. What is your spark? But more than anything for me, I would say that communication and sharing is a huge passion, and I'll be able to do that for a longer period of time because that is from my number one strength. If you read the book Strength Finder or heard of the Gallup Institute, they're all about that. And so anyway, I've been calling it so many different things, like your God-given potential, strength, spark, and recently joy, right? Or what's your definition, right? When you think of your fortes, that's another word that people have used. But anyway, so So I'm here on my website, and I'm gonna head over to my blog. If you don't know I have a blog, I've been surprised and happy to see how much fun, and I'm gonna put the volume, actually I'm gonna turn it off. How much fun I've been having writing. For so long, I thought I was not a good writer because someone told me to go to the writing center if I wanted to be an executive for the YMCA. At that time, I was appreciative of that. Looking back in retrospect, it created a story within me. So anyway, before I get to that, it's the blog is about what Superstars is all about, and really what I like to lead my life in self-care, responsibility. I see them as equal, proactivity and productivity. So it's being productive versus being busy. I'm all about organization and minimalism to really create more space for me, and of course a life to the full for both Jimmy and I. It's in traveling, and at the same time of serving, like of being hospitable, of like sharing that adventure with other people. It's not all about Jimmy and I going on adventures, but it's the reason why I make videos is to share that, to plant maybe some seeds for you to go and check it out and then hear your feedback. And so that's my blog. So I write blogs based on those four things. And for today, it's how we keep motivated, right? And for those who are just joining, in the middle of the suck and during the challenges, how do you still choose to be positive, to look forward to the light at the end of the tunnel? The past, let me see, since October, November, December, January, those are 4 months. A really challenging times for Jimmy and I. We've been like in two separate states, and it's to say the least, it's been I've been learning of how much I could depend and easily give up if I'm not able, like I don't easily figure things out. I will want to rely on him. So anyway, so how do I keep motivated is with this analogy. I basically paid about $2,000 for this advice, and I definitely don't regret it. What I gotta say, that was an expensive advice, right? So I've created a product out of this advice and how to keep motivated. Okay, so rock, sand, water, based on. I want to tell you a story, and again, it's in this in my blog as well. But I do want to actually share a video because I definitely do not do any justice explaining this. I think it's pretty good. Check out the blog, leave me a comment, let me know. This video by what is the name of this guy? He's right here. There you go, Mayor K. I hope that's how you pronounce it, my friend. Anyway, he makes really motivational videos. Again, motivation in the sense of how to be unstuck, how to get over this procrastination, how to keep going, because life can be very hard. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play this, and then I'm going to get back. Hopefully the volume could all work out here. Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. We all have this one life to live. A fleeting shadow amongst all that exists in this vast universe. We have the ability to accomplish anything, truly anything, if we use our time wisely. Is this jar full? And is it full now? And how about now? Is the jar full now?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
My favorite part.
Now, I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. Golf balls are the important things, your family, your friends, your health, and your passions. The pebbles are the other important things, your car, your job, your home. The sand is everything else. It's just the small stuff. Now, if you put the sand in the jar first, you won't have room for the pebbles or the golf balls. The same is true in life. If you spend all your energy and your time on the small stuff, you won't have time for all the really important things that matter to you. Pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Take care of the golf balls first, the really important things. Set your priorities, because everything else is just sand. Yes.
Professor, what does the beer represent?
I'm glad you asked. It goes to show that no matter how full your life may seem to be, there's always room for a couple of beers with a friend.
So credit to this guy in his channel. So much kudos to you. All right. So I love the whole thing on the professor. I know for me, college, I know definitely towards the end, because I went to 4 different colleges. I was motivated, or I'll use another word. I was inspired from like the stories that will tell me versus from textbooks. And I've had really great professors, and I feel very blessed and grateful that they have shared stories with me. It's like the power of storytelling. It's really amazing. So he starts, pouring that thing, and I know this has golf balls, pebbles. My analogy is rock sand, but the concept's still the same. And I'm gonna put it right here. The concept is that if we first put in all the sand, which is all the small stuff. Let me see where it is. I don't think I have it in here. If we put all the small stuff, it won't leave room for the rocks, for what's important. And just actually, I'm going to come back here really quick to what the analogy is. So I really should have started. Actually, Jimmy told me this. I didn't take my husband's advice in here. But the rocks, it was important to you, right? Based on your values. Your sand is your to-do list, and your water is the joys of life, aka that beer that the professor talked about. Okay, so again, if we put in we start with and take all of our energy and put in the sand first. I know for me, I get very tired because whatever I do, I do like 110%. I'm like all in. And so then if I don't get to work out or walk or stretch or go to a sauna or like take care of my body, I'm going to feel very guilty, and I'm going to feel actually not so much guilt, but I'm going to be very upset. And then I'm going to be very tempted to be upset with my husband. Usually he's the first one I get upset with my mom or my friends, right? So I could easily be tempted to do that. And so what this analogy is that they're all equal, because so many people tell me, well, Patty, my to-do list is important. If I don't get that done, it's going to become really important, essential, not like it's going to get to a critical place. Like, let's say, like, say I'm being paying bills. You don't pay that bill, you're going to get bad credit, right? There's consequences to that. And so what I like to tell people is that I believe that they're equal. But the key part, it's which one do you do first. So here in my journal, right, they're equally important. um and it's starting from left to right. And one of the things to bring clarity, because I know I get this question, is that this part may be confusing for some people. Because if you are thinking of every single day of what your rocks activities are, you may be missing the point. And I know it happens to me. If I am every day trying to think, I feel like I'm wasting time. So what I like to do, and there's a blog on it too, and I link it in here, is that when we find out, or when we take the time to reflect in our values, right? Then it's much easier to know what you want your season to look like. So for me, in this winter, it's really uh, choosing to tell myself, really by the power of repetition, that my life is good. My heart goes out to people in Turkey and in Syria who have lost loved ones, and life right now with all the weather change, I mean, it's hard. And if you are feeling like life is hard, it's true, right? And right now it's become even harder and more challenging. And so that's been like my season reflection. I want to choose to focus on what's good, and good in myself, starting with that, then good with my family. And for right now, it's Jimmy and Poppy, right? And then my business. What am I grateful for? It's gratitude and appreciation, those two. I like to switch and say those things out loud. I appreciate you for XYZ, right? So anyway, so it's being aligned in our values, living, just really seeing the benefits, living by your values, what you believe is important. Whether for you that's integrity. I have my book over there, Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. Has an awesome chapter on values, and I also link it in my blog as well. So finding out what really it comes down to, and this is how I keep myself motivated, is that I make time to reflect, like to literally stop and reflect. And it's this time of reflection that allows me to get off the gas pedal, because most of my life, I mean, that's a heavy foot on the gas pedal. And I have it in my latest blog. It's I know when I growing up, more like, I grew up also in Peru. So when I was like between 11 and 13, I will go and visit my cousin Michelle, which was about an hour. And on US 9, I had no idea that there were so many scenic views. Even though I will read it, but my parents and I never ever stopped there. It was like we had one focus: we're gonna get to our destination, right? Gas on the pedal. And it has really been recently, until Jimmy will take me on hikes nearby, that I was like, whoa, just stopping for like a hot 5 minutes to get out of the car, stretch, taking a big deep breath, and notice what's around you. And so yeah, so the rock, sand, water analogy does require, or it's important that before you use this method, that you take that time to know what's important, like your values, and that you take the time to notice what brings you joy. Because you know what, we all know what our sand is, our to-do list. It happens every day, right? Like, that's not hard to put down on a piece of paper. It is super hard when I ask people what brings you joy. They're like, there's a lot of in it, or you know what, I don't know, right? And it's important to, before we use this knowledge, to really identify what those rocks are. And I say this so often: go beyond God, family, and things like that, like broad and not definitely not specific, right? Let's start using different language. And you know what, I'm gonna bring up, I'm gonna actually, yeah, I'm gonna do this um because I'm here and it is alive. Let's do this together. So I connect the Roxanne to the benefits of living by your values, and in there I also talk about what I mentioned earlier, the Brene Brown Dare to Lead, and then I share the list. And in this list, okay, let's see how many new words we could use today to give a name to your values. Um, Accountability, achievement, adaptability, adventure, altruism. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna look it up. If you know it, please drop it in the comments. Uh, Authenticity, balance, beauty, being the best, belonging, career, caring, collaboration. I'm only in B, and there's a few words in there that I haven't looked up. Maybe I did and I forgot. But we're gonna go. It's basically all the way to W, right? To write your own. And she's done the work. She's a researcher, and her team. I love that I get to choose some words. And what I like about it is the fact. Oh, I don't think it has shown there. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you guys, I am not, let me see. So I'm going to go ahead, since I open a new tab, I'm reading here, but I'm not showing you what that is. Okay, let's bring up Brene Brown. Okay, cool. So there it is, right? I read a few of them, and here's a big list. What are your values? What are some of these rocks that keep you grounded? And in the blog, in the benefits of living by your values, um again, it takes that pause to figure that out. And it doesn't really necessarily need to be an hour, right? And it could be, the way I like to do it in here is like, I highlight, put a star next to 10 that calls me. And then this is like to practice how to prioritize. And then out of the 10 that have the star, I will underline the most important 5. And then from the 5, then I'll go narrow down that to a 3. You use your own numbers, the numbers that come to you. The beauty of it is just to start narrowing it down to a smaller number. So like, let's say you do start at 15. That's fine. You get to 10, and then maybe 7. Maybe 7 is your magic number. Regardless of what that is, it's a great practice to prioritize, which I love to do, because it teaches me that I got a choice, right? I don't have to. My life was with a lot of drama language of I should or should. So I should on myself a lot, and definitely lots of have tos. Woo, so many, right? I have to go to the bank, right? Well, if I would have been proactive and done that earlier, because sand is important, then I wouldn't have to go that day, right? So they're equally important. Sand is as equal as important as the rocks and the water. The analogy of the rock, sand, water, it's really to put the rocks first. That's all. No one's fighting with your to-do list, right? It's yours, right? You believe it to be important. How about taking that time right now? We're using new words. What matters for you? What you stand for? What you believe? Sportsmanship, simplicity, joy, justice, leadership, learning. You're a lifelong learner. What is it that you believe? What's important? And then from there, knowing that, I reflect back in seasons, right? My 3 months. And out of the 3 months, I narrow down to a month, right? And then a week. And then I know I'm crazy, so I can tend to do a lot. And so I'm learning to slow it down, right? So I will literally have different goals every single week. I'm finally up to the month. It's still challenging to keep that focus for the 3 months, unless I have like something big, like launch a course or something like that. That keeps me pretty long term, because I want it like now. So I'm learning, I'm growing in this area as well. So your rocks, right? And going back in here, let's stop here and let's go back to my blog, which is here. Let's see. Okay. So figuring that out, understanding the benefits of it, it's gonna be messy. You know what? This is gonna be lots of hits and misses. You're gonna think it's one thing, but the way you really lead your life, or how have you led your life, it's completely different. And let me tell you, when you fake it, I mean, the whole thing, fake it till you make it, man, that's really done some damage to our society, of so much pretense and so much like, and of course I've been there, especially at the beginning. Oh, my clients. Like, yeah, I had like two at that time, but I was saying clients. I was like, hey, two, it's plural, like pushing things, making them bigger than what they are. Really, I got like one favorite principle, and that's where I eat, and this is how our company makes money. And it's not my one-on-one clients. We're not surviving. We don't get to travel on that yet. I do have the online course coming up soon, and I'll talk about that another time. But it's what your strengths are, like, where do you thrive? Like, I love having lunch and meeting with people. Like, that is what I do for a living. Like, I sit down. Shout out to Burrito Bar in Staten Island. Now I'm here in Orlando, so I know I'm gonna have another place. So I'm thinking First Watch, and so many different restaurants here in Orlando. But anyway, it's like that's where I'm at. Like, when I'm sitting with the decision maker, that's where I thrive. Me sitting with middle management, oh gosh, I get frustrated. I get impatient. It's bad. Like, that is not where I thrive, right? But it's going back, it's reflecting. Rock, sand, water analogy um gets to be a beautiful thing when you are in a habit of stopping and reflecting and noticing and giving yourself that grace, really. Because it's going to start messy if you actually never have stopped, if you're constantly on a go and you get to sit down one Sunday for 15 minutes. I'm the queen of 15 minutes, guys, because we say an hour, and usually life happens, circumstances, weather, dogs, children, and you're like, see, it didn't happen. I mean, I get that from particular people, like, I planned the self-care for myself and it didn't happen. Like 15 minutes, just pause 15 minutes. I actually think that whole hour comes from something else. I won't get into it. Um, but 15 minutes matter. Shout out to my friend Marlene. I love to see her gardening in 15 minutes. So it's encouraging, like to see more people talk about how much you can get done in 15 minutes. Is magical, people. Magical. So rock, sand, water, based on your values, taking that time to reflect and experiment. You know what? Like, so, okay, so what's an example? I think I do talk about it in my blog. Let's see. Doo-doo-doo. I love telling stories. But yeah, so it's like reminding yourself, because a lot of values sometimes, I know for me, can come out of chaos, out of those challenges. And like, to be honest, like, especially when you're a child, you could say, you know what, I will never be like XYZ, and base decisions on that. And so I know I've done that so many times. Like, okay, you don't like to have people over. I love having people over. I love to be hospitable. I want to make it a great experience when people come to my house. I want them to feel at peace, for it to be a haven when they're here. So, and notice that you do a lot of based on that, right? Like, you're hospitable because it maybe did start from not following somebody else's steps. So it's really finding out, figuring it out, having grace and compassion on yourself, right? Asking yourself, what leads you to certain places? What passions get you there, right? Like, again, going back to that list, that Brene Brown list that I have in my blog. Experiment with the words, say them out loud, see which one calls to you. So anyway, so benefits, actually, let's go back um, to the rock. Sand comes from reflecting. Okay, so we talked about rocks being by your values, and then water, it's the joy, right? The professor talks about it as the beer. For me, coffee, coffee. Just and I forgot to bring it. Holding my mug in a cozy cafe with some jazz or coffee place music, sitting in front of a friend or Jimmy, it's just that moment in itself, it's magical. Because I could smell it, I could feel it. It touches all the senses, like all of them, and I'm a very happy Patty. And the water, again, what I encourage is not like a vacation somewhere. We're not talking about like every day eating out. Not gonna mock my husband, but he actually thinks like that at times. I'm like, babe, just let's go smaller, right? And again, it takes time to put the foot in the brake a little bit, or let go of the gas a little bit. Start there. Let go of the gas. Let the car slow down. Let slow down a little bit. And then start noticing. Okay, so when you go on vacation, what exactly do you like? Oh, I like the fact that I don't have to wake up at a certain time. So can you do that on a Sunday? Can you do that on a Saturday? Can you wake up whenever you want? Oh, I love, like brunch. Like, can you call somebody, your mom, and go for a brunch? Shout out to my mom. She was here for about like 12 days. And she loved First Watch. For those who don't know what First Watch is, it's the most delicious brunch place in the planet. Only in the South. The first time I went was with the Acevedos in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we've been in love. And I have like 3 around my area here in Orlando, which is magical. Anyway, okay. So yeah, ask yourself those questions. Like, because most people think, You need like big stuff. Oh, I need a man. I need a girl. I need whatever you think you need. Again, this is like a lot of pressure language. Need, should, have to. So ask yourself from these shoulds and haves and needs, what is it about those things that you like? And can you do that locally? Can it happen right now? And for example, for those who want a boyfriend out here right now, okay, so what is it that you want from a boyfriend? Is it someone to understand you? Is it someone who has the same values and passions as you? Because the more I think about it, right, like between Jimmy and I, like, yes, we do travel, we do a lot of things. Is, again, I just told you, my husband, he's a maximizer, right? Like, he's like 50 states, like he wants to do everything. Like, he has actually an agenda when we're on vacation from like 6 a.m. all the way down to the evening. And I'm like, nope, no agenda, right? So, which is weird because I'm more about, this is why I'm all rooting for you, Miss To-Do Lists and Sand People. I'm that person too. I'm learning how to put my rocks first. I believe in the to-do list. Okay, guys. I like to call it work tasks. I like to put it in a spreadsheet. I do it differently now, right? More in blocks versus my whole day or my whole week. I don't do that. People think I schedule like every hour. I don't do that. That's insane. That's actually very boring. That's very robotic, and in my opinion, it's not life to the full. It's a life basically indebted to an agenda, to time, and it's really not time management. It's managing yourself. How do you manage yourself? You take that time to reflect, ask yourself those better questions. What are your values? Of what brings you joy? So back to the water. How do you go from that big stuff, right, and start asking yourself those questions? So Jimmy and I happen to have those same standards or love for coffee, love for trees, for sunset, for fire. That's what actually has united us. Not the trips, not the dinners and the dates and all that. It's what we love. Like, I'd rather, and I know Jimmy too, like, us go to Barnes and Noble, not talk, pick up books, drink some coffee, and we're like two happy lovebirds that are not talking to each other, but they're next to each other doing what they love the most, right? For me, for him, learning. We love to learn. We're never gonna stop. Okay, that's gonna be our jam, right? We are nerds to the core, and we will do that every day, right? And it's being honest with yourself. It's asking yourselves those questions. But why? Keep going. Go down the layer of asking yourself why. So rock, sand, water, and the magic of it comes from asking yourselves those questions, letting go of that gas, slow down a little bit, ask yourself, use new language instead of what you always do. God, my husband, my children, that's all I want. Is it? Then why are you sad? Or not sad, sorry. Why do you feel frustrated? Why do you feel stuck, right? Your body is telling you, your mood is telling you. I know for me, my I just finished telling a friend of mine, man, moody. I've been moody because I've been apart from Jimmy. Like, there's a lot of things that have not worked out. And because of that, I get very angry. And then the layer under anger is very sad, right? Okay, asking yourself why. So again, recap from the beginning. If you're in transition, you are into something new. I'm speaking to you because it's when we're in transition that we're more open to trying something else. And I want to invite you to try this method, whether you buy my journal or not. Like, start writing down what you can do. And I leave this open, guys, right here. Those are to stay away from this agenda. Is really, I put like the amount of time it's gonna take me. Okay. So let's see. Let's actually share from what I have. All right. So for blog writing, right? So for me, one of my rocks for this winter is to really get to know my ideal client. And I've been so happy in writing blogs because I feel like I'm talking to you. You love long life learner, you who are always growing, learning. You're in transition every quarter, every year, every 5 years, because you don't stay where you are. You want to grow, you want to leave a legacy. And it's been a lot of fun writing to you. So anyway, so I dedicate half hour into just writing to my ICA in the format of blogging. So I will put 0030, that's 30 minutes spending on that. Right. I'm working out. So my workout, if you go to my blog, it's changed now. I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I used to go from 50 minutes. Now it's 45 minutes to an hour, which is very different. And I love my coach. Shout out to Coach Karan over in Vancouver, Canada. Kudos to you. So learning, growing, expanding from that, and putting that down, right? And that's my water. And then now that could be my rock too, because that's my body. But I like to just switch stuff up, because let me tell you, after you work out, the mood goes from I want to scratch my husband to like, woohoo, I am the queen of the world kind of mood. It just goes like, wee. So anyway, so it's where you want to put it. And again, I know I just spoke about 45 minutes, but it could be 15 minutes. It could be 5 minutes. I put a lot of ice cream under my water. Ice cream, especially in the summer when it's hot, it just brings a smile to my face. It could be my sunset. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I love my balcony that faces this big water fountain that comes out of a man-made pond. I can see the pool. It feels amazing, right? And it's my sunset gratitude. It takes 15 minutes for me to go outside and tell God what I'm grateful for and what I appreciate, to keep me grounded in the light at the end of the tunnel, to keep me grounded or what really matters, that, life will throw curveballs and there will be challenges, but how do we keep motivated? And when I follow this Roxanne water base, my reflections of aligning my values and knowing what brings me joy and having like a nice little pull list to pull from keeps me motivated. And I want to thank you for joining me through this live 43 minutes. I wanted to go 45 into this topic of how to keep motivated 525,600 minutes. And I want to end, because I want to make time, because I did say I want to support an artist, is that I want to support a song from Ina Christina. I met her in an open mic that I hosted for a nonprofit that I'm a board member of. And we did this open mic, and she was just so happy to give, so happy to contribute her strength, which in a second you're going to hear it. And which is, her voice. And not just that, I mean, follow her in all her social media. And I did not have that, but I'll make sure I put that in the comments. I was not prepared with that. It's okay. Grace, right? Grace, compassion. And so she has a new album. And I love this about, I was going to put it up here, but you guys know, like the Tonight Show. In the Tonight Show, how Fallon holds like an album record. Well, anyway, I thought it was so fun for me to do that because I just think it's fun. Okay, let me see. Okay, this is still downloading, but let's go here. This is me. Let's stop the share. This is me holding up her new album. Okay, which is Be Still. Okay, it's reflecting like, oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Ina available in Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Make sure you follow her. Her handle is Ina, okay, INA dot A, sorry, two A's, then dot RTEE. Get to know her, give her a shout out, tell her I sent you, and I'm gonna go ahead and share her song. And the song I want to share today, it goes to the theme of how to keep motivated, and that's actually two songs. Listen to the whole album. There's a lot of grace and compassion in her album, and the timing of her album release was ideal and perfect for where I've been going through in the past 4 months, and the feeling that was at the front of it all was sadness and loneliness. um and uh and what I realized is that I've been feeling different and alone basically most of my life, guys. And so what came up in the 4 months is that, but in a really negative way. Instead of embracing the fact that I am unique, I am very different. I do see things differently from most people. I believe that, and then it's embracing that. It showed up in a different way, and so her album um has been gentle. And again, so if you're in transition, if you're in a period where you're getting to learn about yourself, in your patterns, and I see the screen is freezing a little bit, but that's okay. This is such a cool album for that. And so the song that I'm going to play, and I'm actually going to put it right here, and I'm going to go ahead and as I'm speaking, because the thing is still uploading, so is in oops dot okay, dot R T E E. Okay, so go ahead. There we are. Yep. Oh, nope, nope. Giving myself some compassion. There's one N and two A's. And her album is called Be Still. Oh, those words to me are so encouraging. And Be Still album, and the name of the song that I want to share that goes with this theme, it's called Better Days. Again, I'm speaking to those who are in transition, who are currently embracing the suck and the challenges. Okay. When you're new in town, yeah, that whole feeling of loneliness, it's pretty strong. And I really do hope that her album actually encourages you into really having grace on yourself and compassion on what you're feeling, and start, write it down. Write it down. Stay curious of where it's coming from. And yeah, listen to the song. Okay. So I am going to play it from Spotify again. Ina in the house, her album Be Still. And I'm going to be playing Better Days. And it's still downloading. Okay, that's okay. But you know what? I hope that it does come up for you. And here we go. Oh man. Okay. Well, you're not going to be able to see it, but you're going to be able to hear it. All right. So, all good. All right. Better Days. That transition, like the Tonight Show, not as I wanted to. but that's okay. If you are watching live, leave me a comment. Let me know, please, that you could hear this.
In my heart, I can feel a new chapter coming in my mind. Cannot say she's always running. I can see better days ahead. It's been dark, my soul was heavy for a while. It felt impossible to carry on, so I can see better days ahead. Lately it's simplicity. It brings the utmost space, like how the sun comes up and offers us all of the light we need, like how it feels to love and to be loved. Oh, love is everything to me. Better days over me. Better days are ahead of me. I crave simplicity. In that most peace, love how the sun comes up and offers us all of the light we need. How it feels to love and to be loved. Oh, love is everything. It is everything. It is everything to me. I can see better days, better days.
All right. And that is Ina, her album Be Still, and the song that we just heard, it's Better Days. Thanks for joining me. Sorry about the hiccup with the song. Go and check it out. Follow her and tell her I sent you. And I'll see you next Friday. Bye, superstar.